Hello again, Chase McKinney here. And, just like last time, we heard from Melissa, and we're in for it again as we hear from her once again as she continues her presentation regarding this week's skill.
Hi, I'm Melissa Bucco, and I am a professional school counselor. Today in our DBT group, we're going to continue learning about emotional regulation. Thanks for joining me. We're going to start off this lesson with Mythbuster. So there are a lot of myths in our world about how emotions affect us, what emotions are good or bad, and how we should respond to different situations. Let's talk about the facts. So myth 1, there is a right way to feel in every situation. The truth is that every person experiences different situations differently, based on their own history, their coping skills, and their personality traits. Just because you feel one way and someone feels another does not mean either of you are right or wrong. Myth 2. Letting others know that I am feeling bad is a weakness. In fact, honest communication about how I feel allows me to continue important discussions. By allowing someone to know that I'm feeling bad about a situation, they might be able to help you with it. They might be able to change their responses in order to help you. And it might just be that this turns out to be a whole lot better of a situation. Myth 3. Uncomfortable feelings are bad and destructive. The truth is, these feelings are important to help keep us safe. Acknowledging these feelings could save me from other dangers that I might not be aware of. Sometimes it's important to trust your gut. Myth 4. Being emotional means being out of control. While this is a common misconception, the truth is that we're all emotional. By understanding and managing my emotions, I can maintain control of situations with my responses and my decision-making skills. Myth 5. All painful emotions are a result of a bad attitude. That is just not true. The truth is that painful emotions don't mean I have a bad attitude. They often can keep me from experiencing a tough situation more than once. A painful emotion could simply mean you're human. Myth 6. If others don't approve of how I'm feeling, I obviously shouldn't feel the way I do. This takes me back to our first myth, and how you feel does not reflect other people. The truth is, my emotions are not dependent on the approval of others. I feel the way I do for a reason. How I respond to those feelings is what counts. Myth number 7. Other people are the best judge of how I am feeling. The truth is, my emotions are mine. It may be difficult to put my feelings into words, but they are mine and mine alone. Myth number 8. Painful emotions are not really important and should be ignored. The truth is, emotions are important, every single one of them. Ignoring painful emotions only suppresses their impact. Acknowledging them allows us to eventually trade that pain for a more positive emotion. So, we are now going to talk about the steps to letting go of emotional suffering and being mindful of our current emotion. One thing that you can do in order to maintain your mindfulness of your current emotion is to observe it. Note that it's there. Step back, take a look at the situation. Get unstuck from the emotion. Don't feel like you have to hold on to it. Experience your emotion fully. Your emotion comes as a wave of coming and going and ups and downs. Experience that. Try not to block out or push away your emotion. These are important emotions and you need to learn how to deal with them. But in order to deal with them, you have to acknowledge that they are there and hold on to those for just a moment. Don't try to keep the emotion around. Just like we're not going to push it away, we're also not going to just hold on to it as it has to be a defining moment for us. It doesn't have to be. Just witness the emotion. Watch it, feel it, understand it, and then you can deal with it. Remember, you are not your emotion. You don't have to act on the sensation or the urgency. Responding in a certain way as an immediate feeling is not dealing with your emotion. It's just a reaction. Remember when you have felt differently. Sometimes this is difficult, especially for painful emotions. But when you're able to think for a moment about a time when there was a more positive situation or when you responded in a different way, this could give you a little bit more clarity in the situation itself. Describe your emotion without judgment. Instead of saying, instead of saying, I am angry, sad, mad, terrified, respond by saying, I have the feeling of anger. I have the feeling of sadness. Next, notice other feelings that you have at the same time you feel that strong emotion. You may be angry about a situation, but you also might be a little hurt or sad. Maybe you're scared of what might be next. Notice those other feelings so that you have a full grasp of the situation. The next thing you can do to be mindful of your current emotion is by practice respecting and loving your emotion. Don't judge your emotion. Don't say that it's a good emotion or a bad emotion. It's an emotion, period. Practice willingness with your emotion. Show that you are ready to understand it and acknowledge it for what it really is, and that you're willing to make some changes in order to feel differently. Radically accept your emotion. Yes, I feel sad. I feel anger. I feel worried. Yes, those things are all true. Those are the way I feel right this moment. And by accepting what we are feeling, we are able to manage it much more effectively. The next activity is called changing your emotions by acting the opposite to the current emotion. So this may sound weird, but we all have negative emotions that can sometimes run the way we feel. The main negative emotions are fear, guilt or shame, sadness or depression, and anger. How we deal with each of these emotions is going to be a little bit different. So the point of acting opposite is instead of reacting in a negative way, we're going to respond in the opposite way than how we might be feeling at the moment. In fear, instead of being afraid of something and running away from it, just do it. If it's not an unsafe situation, do it. And don't just do it once, but do it over and over and over again so that you're not afraid. Approach the fear. If you are afraid of a snake that is in a bedroom of your friend in an aquarium, walk up to it, look at it. Don't be afraid of it. It's not going to hurt you when it's behind glass. And then make a list. Make a list of all the different things that you could do, the little small steps in order to get over being overwhelmed by your fear. And then do that first thing on that list. That will help you overcome that fear. When you are dealing with guilt and shame, there are two different types of guilt or shame. They could be justified or unjustified. If it's a justified feeling of guilt or a justified feeling of shame, then it would fit with the wise mind, the balance between your emotional mind and your rational mind. So that if it is an area that you should be afraid or sorry for or ashamed of, then you can have a way of managing it that is different than if it is an unjustified feeling of guilt or shame. Justified, you would want to make a repair, apologize for that situation if that is necessary, or make amends. Commit to change. Know that you are sorry for doing something or sorry for a situation and work to not do that again. Accept the consequences. So you got pulled over by the police officer who said that you were speeding, and you were. So accept the consequences. Do the class and make sure that you pay your fine, and then let it go. It does not mean you're a terrible driver. It doesn't mean that your life is over and that everything is terrible. It just is. It just is a situation that you feel sorry for, but now you can let it go. In an unjustified situation, if you're feeling guilty or ashamed of what has happened, and it's unjustified, which means it does not fit the wise mind, then do it. Do it again. Do it over again. Do what you need to do. Approach it. Don't avoid it. Make sure that you're doing the thing that is making you feel a certain way, and do it anyway, knowing that there's nothing to be ashamed of. For sadness or depression, a great way to deal with it when we start to feel down is to get active, to approach the situation and not avoid what's making us sad, but just understand that that is a reaction. And then do things that make you feel competent and confident in who you are. Be the master of your own situation, and that sadness and depression will slowly fade away. If you're angry, you can gently avoid the person you're angry with. Don't attack them and don't dwell on the situation, but just stay away. Another way of dealing with anger when you are angry at someone or a situation is to do something nice for someone, even if it has to be the person that you're angry with. And then imagine a sympathetic or empathetic way of seeing that person instead of blaming them for the situation you're in. Each of these different ways of dealing with a negative emotion can help us to turn the situation around. Your opposite emotions worksheet is going to be given to you by your leader. You are able to do this video or do this activity together as a group. Pause the video now, and you can come back when the worksheet is complete. We've learned a lot about emotional regulation over the last couple of times that we've met. I hope that you understand certain things a little bit better and are able to work with your emotions in a healthy way. Remember that your rational mind and your emotional mind must work together to create your wise mind and help you to be in the wise mind situation so that you are able to make more informed and wiser decisions. Our primary emotions include anger, fear, joy, sorrow, disgust, guilt or shame, interest, and surprise. Some of the ways that we can change our emotion are allowing us to shift the experience. So instead of seeing everything in a negative light, changing our emotions into a more positive experience could allow us to actually enjoy a situation and mold and cope with a situation to help us to better ourselves. Changing our emotions helps keep us in our wise mind. Instead of being just rational or just emotional, it helps us to balance and make wiser decisions and handle things in a better way. By changing our emotions, it allows us to have a different perspective on the situation and helps us to understand from other people's points of view. A very important piece to being able to stay out of the emotional mind and in the wise mind is to stay strong. Sleep as much as you need, take your medications, and take good care of your physical health. Resist using the drugs and alcohol or other things that can be dangerous or cause you to react inappropriately. Once a day, do something that makes you feel in control and master of your own world. Eat a balanced way with best nutrition. And get exercise every day. Staying strong will help you to stay strong, both emotionally and physically. I hope you've enjoyed our lessons together, and I hope that you are able to use these activities and these coping skills in order to manage your emotional regulation to the best of your ability. Have a great day, and thanks for joining me.